Hey, what's going on, guys? John Lee here. So I wanted to touch base on a couple comments on this Verizon customer service fail video. This is from, obviously, you can see April 1st of 21. Today is August 19th of 2022. So it's about a year and a half has gone by since I made this original video. But I'm constantly getting comments and woohoos and la-di-das and all kinds of comments, which is fine. That's what it's there for. So I just wanted to kind of read one or two of these comments. At some point, everybody can go through the comments and read it for yourselves. But I just wanted to make a video on some of these people actually write in and say certain things that really do rub me the wrong way, and I think they rub a lot of people the wrong way. So this video has been viewed over 10,000 times, which doesn't mean shit. It's a kick in the bucket. But here's something from 3 months ago. Mr. Donut edited, wrote in and said, I worked as a tech supervisor for a telecom company for 8 years. Supervisors are not available at a moment's notice. Their jobs are not customer facing. That's what frontline reps are for. That is true. Frontline reps are for dealing directly with the customers. But to act like supervisors play no role, like their role is not figuring out how to solve problems or issues with customers that the reps who are directly facing customers are unable to solve on their own. Let's see, that's what the frontline supervisors manage employees and are insanely busy. On a given day, supervisors are reviewing at least 5 to 10 calls per rep on their team, 10 to 20 reps. Meetings with other leadership, scheduling training, developing leader-led trainings, working HR issues, and all the other administration duties of a supervisor. If you want to talk to them, they have to find time between those pre-scheduled tasks to call you. They are going to review the previous call which caused the escalation and very likely will either offer you the same resolution as the original rep or even nothing at all because the issue could have been resolved by the original rep, and now there is an added expense to the business for leadership to have become involved. They will be very direct and to the point because they need to resolve the issue and get back to their actual job. They have no additional access to the system or ability to override policy unless there is a verified egregious error. Now, 13 people actually liked that comment. And to Mr. Donut, there's a few things that I feel like I need to say and address, and that's this whole idea and this whole disconnect between you as a leadership role, the employees that you manage who deal directly with, who are the face of the company. It's your job as a leadership, as management, to do all those things, yes, that you have to do on a daily basis. But you should never be so far out of touch that you think that real customers don't have real problems and that every customer rep isn't always going to be able to solve those problems. What if the customer has a discrepancy about the bill? Like in my particular case, what if the customer wants to pull the phone call? What if there's confidential information that's on that call? CNPI. Maybe I gave out my address. Maybe I gave out my banking information. Maybe I gave out, who knows what all I gave out, my social security number. I mean, who knows on that call. And if there is a discrepancy and the person that the rep is handling your situation cannot handle or resolve that situation, well, then it does get escalated. Here we are a year and a half later. You can see from that call that I was actually told that somebody would call me back. I wasn't asking for, you know, a, I wasn't asking to just be treated like shit and disregarded like useless trash. And so, I feel like that leadership and management and some people get offended when they see some of these reviews that I do. And the reason that I'm publicly blasting this horrible customer experience is because I'm trying to broadcast the disconnect between a time where people did good business and every single customer made the difference on whether or not they were growing and developing and being promoters of the business, not detractors. When they act like they don't have time for you, just look at the comment that this Mr. Donut said, acting like he just doesn't have time. He is so fucking busy doing everything he has to do to be a management or leadership. Good leadership doesn't complain about the excessive amount of responsibility that they have. They just figure out a way to get it done. They either delegate it or they, assess their time accurately so that they know that if you can't even manage your own time, how are you supposed to manage and lead other people? If you've got too much on your plate as leadership to actually answer any question a customer would have that's not been able to be resolved by a customer service rep, that's your job. All your other jobs are secondary, in my opinion. And that's not even as a professional, not even as a customer, just from one professional individual to another, to the world. The way I run my business is every single customer I treat like, you know, my entire company depends on their business. And some of these outfits, they get so big that they forget that every single customer does matter. Not everybody's right all the time. And there's certainly room for education. There's certainly room for, errors. There's certainly room for people being human and making mistakes. But when people call you out on your bullshit and then you act like it's too much of an inconvenience for you to have to either address it, even touch base with the customer. One thing that I've found that my customers love the most about the way I do business is that I do treat them like I give a shit about their service. I do treat them like I give a shit about their business. I pick up the phone when somebody calls me. I call people back when they fucking leave me a message. I call people back. This is how this is the reality of big business and big tech. They don't have the customer support that they really need and claim to have. And here's the thing, when you're building your business models in a way where you're providing less and less customer support and putting more and more responsibility onto your clients or your customers, that's not good business. And so that's why a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just, seek out the competition. And with these big tech companies, there's really not a whole lot of major competition. Like, what two phone companies are out there? Not phone service providers, but actually manufacturers. You've got Android and you've got Apple. I mean, I'd say that's really close to monopoly, even though there's tons of other cheap shit. When it comes to good quality products, there really is not a fair market out there. And the same goes with the service providers. There should really be like 10 to 20. There should be more than one place for people to get power. Like a whole city. Like if a city has clerical errors or has errors on the back end, they record all their conversations. And then when you ask for any conversation that you've had with any person that you have a contract with or do business with that may have your confidential information in that recording, in that conversation, to the best of my knowledge, that there is legislation that allows for customers to put a request in for a review of all confidential information and correspondence. That's all emails, that's all phone calls, it's everything. Anything that could have potentially confidential information that could be related to any type of confidentiality liability. And so I know this through my own professional training at a communications company and had regular training on this kind of stuff. And so, you know, regular training on this kind of stuff. I had to sign off on it. I had to listen. I had to take this in. I had to apply it to customer jobs, work orders. So everything that people tell me on these comments isn't anything that's new to me. It's not something that I haven't heard. I've heard it. I've dealt with routing. I've dealt with dispatch. I've dealt with leadership. I've dealt with teams of leadership. I've dealt with teams that I worked with in the field, experienced techs, new techs, security techs, good techs, bad techs, good customers, bad customers. I've dealt with good weather, bad weather. I've dealt with it all. And so the corporate shit for me is just a fail on every level. The big tech companies are failing not only their employees, their customers, but their communities. And so, it's important for me to make a video and say, hey, I get that you guys have a lot on your plate, but you guys act like you don't have the time because you're running a business. What makes you think that customers have the time when they have their own fucking lives and families and communities and responsibilities to take out of their day to actually call you out on your bullshit only for you to try to sweep it under the rug? I'm John almost forgot. I wanted to share this last comment, and it's from a supposed current employee named Marvin Thompson 2 days ago. He wrote in and said, working for them now, and it's super hard for agents to get soups to take calls. So here's somebody that works for Verizon currently 2 days ago who saw this video and expressed how he already knows that it's almost impossible for a supervisor to take a call. It's not that hard. I always would let a customer know, hey, if it's something I can help you with, I'm happy to. I would really dig for a customer to try to avoid, pushing it up the chain to my leadership. But I was never afraid if it was out of my element. I was never afraid to actually let the customer know, hey, if it's something that I can't help you with, or one of my colleagues or my coworkers or teammates can't help you with, or someone I can't reach out to, then immediate leadership, we have a very good policy of escalating issues and, things rolling back down. And so I was always making sure to let the customers know this isn't something that will just, be forgotten about. And I will see to it that I own this, and then I'll bring it back to you, and that we'll make sure that the problems get resolved. I was always following up with my customers. This is the difference between good and bad business. The difference between a customer experience and a better than excellent customer experience. It really matters to the community, and it really matters to your customers. But this isn't the only thing that this individual said, and this is a current employee. These are the kinds of people that Verizon is hiring for customer service representatives to deal with their customers. And these are the kinds of things that they're saying. Went on to say, commented again, they will literally type to you instead of taking the call, which is semi-rude, but, it gets better. Then he goes on to add this statement that is just so offensive that it's appalling, that any Verizon business would ever hire someone that would ever say something like this to a paying customer at all, ever in the history of any type of business. Mr. Marvin Thompson, a current employee at Verizon, 2 days ago, as of August 19th, 2022, wrote in and said, you're acting like you can't add. You are one of those customers. I can't stand customers like you. If you got a bill, just read it. Now, I happen to know, as a former communications technician, that we have trainings on these types of calls. Every type of call that you can have with a customer, there's a training video, there's a module, there's all of these things. And every employee that is face-to-face with the customer knows better than to ever get online on social media and ever put something like that to anybody. You are acting like you can't add. Like, this person wasn't a part of that conversation. Yeah, I posted the conversation. Pardon me, but this person is so wrong professionally to get on social media and say, hey, yeah, I work here. Now, to the best of my knowledge, if something like this were to happen, we were told that would be grounds for immediate, disciplinary action, and probably up to and including, but not limited to, termination. You don't get on social media, you don't call out customers, and you certainly don't say things like this. Marvin Thompson, a current Verizon employee commented this on my social media YouTube channel about my customer experience. You are acting like you can't add. You are one of those customers. I can't stand customers like you. If you got a bill, just read it. That's so offensive. You're basically saying what an idiot I am, and I'm one of those customers that's just a problem and that you don't want to deal with and your leadership doesn't want to deal with. But my fucking money spends like everybody else's. So it's extremely offensive to me that these little cocksucking bastards, they, them, him, her, whoever the fuck it is, want to get on my social media as a representative of a professional big tech company and sit there and fucking criticize me. And then, talk to me like, I'm some kind of piece of shit or something, when really all I'm doing is exposing the lack of customer service. All I'm doing is blasting the less than ideal customer experience. Now you guys know the difference between a customer experience and a better than excellent customer experience. That's what I would deliver to every customer of mine as if my paycheck actually depended on it. Now, it's important to make these kind of videos so that the entire fucking world and the internet understands and realizes that these are the types of piece of shits that are out there. I'm just a regular dude. I don't want to get ripped off. I don't want you to put me on a 2-year contract if it's going to cost me $5,000 for 2 phones that would only otherwise be $2,200. That's a fucking scam. Your entire fucking system is a scam if you're not delivering a better than excellent customer experience every single time. And being mindful of things like your representatives getting on social media. There's supposed to be teams of people that work at these companies that scour the internet looking for employee relations having to do with public relations. They're not supposed to be getting on here talking shit to customers. Like, point blank. It's important for these big tech companies to realize that my money don't jiggle. It folds. You know what I'm saying? And so, if you don't give me the better than excellent customer experience every single time, I get that people make mistakes. But if you're not accountable for the actions of your policies and your employees and the way they treat their employees and the way you guys do business, and you don't want to be accountable, you don't want to call somebody back, I'll happily take my ducats and my dinero somewhere else. That's what competition is for, to not let shitty big tech companies like Verizon run shitty operations. What these big tech companies don't realize is that customer support and customer service do matter, and they will always matter. And if you're not treating every single customer experience like every employee's job and paychecks for their families' support depends on it, I have no problem letting my money wiggle on down the road to the next service provider. I'm John Lee. If you like videos like these, smash that like and subscribe button for me. It just helps push videos like these out to other viewers like yourself that can't get enough of my bullshit. I'm on to the next one.